We love some good old-fashioned run-and-gun action here at Consoletronix. It's the genre that the multi-billion-dollar video game industry of today was built upon. And while there are no shortage of standout titles and franchises, from Commando to Contra, Rough and Tumble to Russian Attack, it's one of the more obscure I've chosen to cover today. Firstly, it's one of the few arcades I managed to play quite a bit as a kid, and secondly, as we'll see, its reputation in retro circles is largely undeserved. But we'll get to that. The game in question is 1991's Gunforce, from once industry super heavyweights, but now all but forgotten software house Irem. Mention Sega, Nintendo, Capcom or Konami to any gamer worth his salt and you will hear all sorts of opinions, points of view and hypotheses. Mention Irem however, and they'll maybe bring up R-Type and very little else. When in truth Irem were in their day one of the best developers around, with a pool of talent second to none, with their games gracing both arcades and home systems. And while Gunforce here is a decent arcade experience that I've enjoyed despite the difficulty of its pocket money siphoning arcade heritage, it's this, the out-of-the-blue 1992 Snes port that's largely condemned the original arcade simply by association. But is it really as bad as the US box cover would have us believe? Ugh. I mean, the reviews at the time were mixed, and in truth it's far from the worst Snes game I've ever played. But that being said, while everything from the arcade is present, including the ability to pilot literally anything you see, it moves at such a snail's pace throughout that it becomes very tedious very quickly. And who do we have to thank for this piss poor port? Well, somewhat surprisingly, considering Gunforce never received a European Super Nintendo release, but it was a British developer called Bit Studio who bear responsibility. They seem to have specialised in producing ports for other companies, as well as a few licensed titles such as Last Action Hero and even a game based on 2005's Keanu Reeves vehicle Constantine. But we're not ending this video on a downer, far from it. Because I still have to show you this, Gunforce 2. Known as Geostorm in Japan, I initially thought this might be a Strider 2 situation, in which a studio merely licensed the name. But no, this is an official Irem title, and not just any title, but the very last they would ever release to arcades. And as swan songs go, I can't think of too many better. And if you think it has a Metal Slug vibe to it, trust me, you're not the only one, as many fans have retroactively christened this game Metal Slug Zero on account of many of the programmers and developers who worked on this game would leave the collapsing Irem and give the world Metal Slug. But make no mistake, Gunforce 2 is more than just a footnote in gaming history. It is a cracking run-and-gun game in its own right, that sadly never got a much-needed Saturn or PS1 release, which could really have catapulted one of the last great Irem titles to an all-new audience. As it stands, both Gunforce 1 and 2, the arcade games at least, have indeed stood the test of time and are both just as entertaining and enjoyable as they've always been. To my knowledge, no further home releases have been made available, nor are there any plans to, so emulation is the way to go if you want to try some of the best games you more than likely have never heard of. So, my name's Gray, you've been watching Consoletronix. I'm looking to upload more videos more often than I have of late, so let me know if there's any games or systems you'd like to see me get my teeth into in the near future. So, all that's left is for me to say thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.